Well, good evening, everyone. Oh, I seem quiet tonight. Why do I seem so quiet tonight? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, that's why. That's better. That's better for me. Okay. Okay.
When are you ever quiet?
Oh, what the hell are you doing, man? Man,
Why you gotta be like that?
just before I started this stream tonight, just before, I was watching somebody. They exposed their desktop, and it's nothing but furry porn.
They were doing what now?
It's nothing but furry porn at this day. So I was watching a stream just before we got in, and it's, this guy accidentally exposed his desktop, and it's nothing but furry porn.
Wow.
Oh man, oh, this is amazing. Oh, okay. So we're gonna actually. I was gonna play Bioshock tonight. You gonna hang out with me for Bioshock?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Oh man, I feel a lot better. I'm not 100% there yet, but I'm feeling a lot better.
Please explain to me why Payday 2 takes up 76 gigs, though.
Yeah, they need a lot of space for the individual dollar bills. So actually, when you get those little dollar bills, they're not actually just like entities of mass. They actually have thin strips of paper that are actually wound in all of their own individual assets, which then creates what we see to be nothing more than just a massive green snot placed on a table.
Well, even if that were the case, then they'd just be a bunch of the same model stacked. Which
Oh, no. See, there's wear and tear on these bills, man. Like, some are faded, some are new. Whole 9 yards.
Again, that could just be another layer of skin sitting on top of the base skin.
Yeah, but then that's more work.
It still doesn't take up additional space, like nothing to warrant 76 gig.
You talk about more models.
Whatever, okay, no.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's just an overlay, but still, it's if enough overlays, you'll end up with that.
Nah, like Titanfall, the original Titanfall took up 50 gigs, and most of that was because of absurdly, like, audio was uncompressed, and that looks much better than Payday 2.
I think a lot of that, I think, comes down to, well, yeah, compression first off. Second off is going to be how many assets are being reused versus how many are being remade, and then how good is the programming team at reusing old code, right? So like Doom 3 was really, really good at reusing old stuff, right? So I think whenever the code was actually released, I took a look at some of it, and I was kind of like, wow, this is like I'm not really good at this, but I was good enough to see, like, damn, like they were really good at reusing assets. Whoa, what the hell? All right, so here we have our first real major problem.
Oop.
Look at that. So there is no outside. There is just the abyss.
It's just a portal.
It's just there's nothing but the abyss.
No, you're just thinking with
Oh, there
portals
it goes.
now.
Oh, that's what it was. The door was freaking out. All right.
You're just
man.
thinking with portals, man. You're going about this all wrong.
Well, So it's one of the few games I never actually played that everybody loved was Portal. I never played it.
Like, you should definitely play 1 and 2. I mean, even if you don't feel the need for replayability, just the first time through is a great experience.
I think I even have it for all the Xbox, but that was it. Wait, hold on.
1 and 2 are like excellent games. That's back when Valve was actually not just like trying to make money off other people developing games.
Oh man, see, I miss the old days, but that's not what we're here for. I honestly, the past 24 hours have made me feel a lot better. Like, I woke up this morning with a cough, like, that was pretty nasty, and everything else, and like by now, like, I'm like, oh, I feel a lot better. I feel pretty darn good, you know. I'm not like 100%. Oh, there. That's always been there. That's always been a problem.
What's that, fella? You think I'm prettier than Garbo, huh?
See, this is always an issue of this game. Once, like, for some reason, the pictures never held. I don't know why. Even on my Xbox 360, never held. Never. As soon as I put them in and I left and came back, they would always fail. The assets would immediately start going, I don't know. I don't need to know any of this stuff. Oh. Again, game that's far from perfect, but god dang it, it's just so good. It's just so good. It's delicious. Oh, hold on. I hear something crumbling around up there. Oh, and I love that view, man. I love that view. God dang. It's one of those few things that just... Oh, hello. Come here. But no, I mean, it just like... Imagine if this game got some actual love and attention, the graphics were redone, and this was completely updated. Like, just how amazing would this whole thing look? I mean, just... It'd be beautiful. If they really put the elbow grease into it that was needed. Which, in my opinion, isn't much. I think the game still looks pretty darn good for the era that it came from. But that's just me.
The smuggler is the friend of the parasite. It is your duty to report the smuggler.
And I think I heard they were doing a Bioshock 4, but I'm not really looking forward to it, and I'm not really sure what it's gonna look like, or... Oh, that's right, okay, well, that's what I was gonna do. Okay, I need to get the little sisters. Oh my goodness, thank you, game, for reminding me. I would have just literally walked out of here without doing that. See, I have to refrain right now from talking about Commandos 2. I have to really do that. I need actual effort to not piss and moan about it. I'm out of buckshot. No wonder I'm using electric buck. That's not good. Do. Nope, not that one. I want this one. I guess fucker left. Without telling me goodbye.
Here?
Oh, okay.
I don't have to talk the whole time.
I know, but at least when I'm talking, sometimes it's just like, okay, hold on, what's going on? Oh god dang it, okay, there's no way to go into this.
You're so bad at these puzzles, really.
I really am. Like, I really shouldn't be allowed to do this. It doesn't help that I don't actually invest in any of the hacking stuff. Because when I played the Xbox version, I just really got it down to a science of like how fast I can... I guess I can't do any of this. The only way I can do this is if I had fewer tiles there. So I need to actually come over here. Yeah, see, I only have like a few hacking tiles. Let's see here. What do I have now? What's in here right now? Security Expert 2. Okay, let's do that. And then Speedy Hacker. See if that makes a difference for me. What happened to greatly reducing the difficulty, you bugger?
I mean, it's still you doing it, so...
Well, that's not the issue I have. It's like, what, Myth, you still gotta actually do the hacking. Well, thank you, fucker. Thank you so very much. There they are. Some of these get like really, really difficult, where like they give you just enough pieces to do a specific or to do a specific route, and that's it. Oh man, I've unplugged from everything for a while now. It feels like I'm trying to plug back into something when I look at the news or to see what's going on in the world. Apparently, some guy went to Portugal and got the crap kicked out of him. That's like been all over the internet.
Well, I'm not surprised to hear that, though.
I mean, what was his name? This is, Ralph? That guy? I don't know.
Hey, Ralphie.
It's like, yeah, I think his name's Ralph. But like, apparently he's a streamer. I actually was like, okay, who is this person? What's he doing? And, apparently he's, well, I mean, I'd like to think I'm more entertaining than that, but I guess I'm not self-hating enough to be like that. I don't know.
You're entertaining? What?
Oh! Ow! Oh, I can be sometimes, like when I talk about horrible crap that's happened to me in my life. See, here's the thing.
You mean when you just talk about your life?
Oh, yeah, well, that's, you know what, sir? You know what, sir? You know what, sir?
Hey, you semi-cursed life? Come on.
And look, I'm not arguing against what you're saying. I'm saying don't be so honest and blatant about it.
At least bite your tongue a little.
It's like, at least lie to me a little bit.
You're pretty.
Oh, thank you so much. See, that's one of the weird things, is the fact that, like, I've never had a problem with the fairer sex, but I've also not had a problem with gay men hitting on me, so I really don't know what that means. I'd say it's about.
Okay, so it just means I'm lying.
All right, well, no, so it's like it's a 2 to 1, right? It's like for every 2 gay men that hit on me, there's usually 1 woman somewhere that's hit on me. And you know what? That's appreciative. I appreciate that.
See, I don't go out enough, so I don't get hit on. So you know.
See, well, again, it's not like it's every day, right? But you know, it depends. See, it depends on the context, right? So if I'm around friends and like everybody knows each other, it never happens. But if I'm out and I'm by myself and I'm not even paying attention and I'm not looking for it and I'm not, you know, nothing's happening, that's usually when it happens. The problem is that 90% of the time, I'm an idiot when it comes to picking up on these signals. Oh, crap. And so it takes me a little bit to figure this out, or for like somebody to like look at me weird, like, why didn't you grab her number? You know, something like that. Like actually, funny story. I had a girl. I was working at retail, and it was the last customer of the night, and this really, really hot chick walked in, right? And she was flirting with me, and I was flirting back with her. But the thing is that when you work in customer service, even tech support, it's kind of not uncommon to do that. At least it wasn't for me. And so it was just a normal night, right? Except for I just got to have a nice little present at the end of my night where I got to feel good about myself, and you know, I ended the night. And my boss is standing right next to me. My boss isn't that much older than me. He's like 5-6 years older than me, but it, you know, puts him far enough outside the age range where if he was to hit on her, it'd be kind of weird and creepy. Oh no, he, you know, so he was like, he's just about 30-ish or that. And she was really pretty, really nice, and I was like, man, I would love to go out with that chick. And my boss, like, when she leaves, or sorry, no, the last thing that she says to me was, she's like, well, is there anything else? And I was like, nope, you're good. You're good. You're free to go. And then she goes, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, because I was not picking up on this at all. God. Yes, because I'm a retard.
Handed to you on a fucking silver platter and all.
I know.
Dude, she must have felt so shut down.
Oh my god, she must have, because I felt so bad afterwards, because my boss and actually 2 of my coworkers were standing at the door like, come on man, just seal the deal. Just do it, you're right there. Just freaking do it. And as soon as she leaves, the one time my boss actually hit me, I mean straight up hit me, he was right next to me, and his arm went from the register to the back of my head so fast, I thought something had hit me. Like, I thought something else had hit me.
I would have cuffed you sideways.
Yeah, well, I deserved it. And he goes,
handed to you on a fucking silver platter, and you just shut it down.
And he goes, you friggin' moron. It's like my other 2 coworkers come out, he's like, are you stupid? Are you that stupid? And I was like, what? It's like, that chick was into you. That chick was into you, and you let her walk away. And I was like, really? And he's like, yes, you moron. How are you this stupid? Oh my god. And like, yeah, it was, you know, it's crap like that sometimes I don't always pick up on. And it's usually after the fact. Man, I could even tell you what she was still wearing. Because it's just like, dude, I was such a friggin' moron. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Do I have any? I don't have any betties that I have. Oh man.
Like you would with a proper mule. Cohen tidies with a catchy melody and a clever turn of phrase.
Come here.
But no matter how nicely it sounds, he can't.
Come here. No. Ah, come on. Want to get the shot? What am I focused on? Is it him?
I love how people are still going on about the stupid groundhog.
Stupid what?
Groundhog. Everybody's like, Punk's studying this or shit.
Oh yeah. All right, let me turn. Since I'm not usually having people in this game with me, I'm gonna turn this down for a little bit. All right. So first things first, we need to find a way to blow this guy up. I don't have any of those. Crap. Okay, so I have to be more careful about this. Yeah, I think I went. Yeah. So Groundhog Day. I actually did not know it was Groundhog Day until like the day was over.
Well, now see the movie. Great. The movie's great.
I have seen the movie. The movie's pretty fun.
The movie's awesome. I love that movie.
I like when Bill Murray tries to like commit suicide and he wakes up and he's just like, God dang it, there is no escape from this nightmare.
I love it when he's driving with the groundhog. He's like, don't drive angry.
Don't drive angry. Don't drive angry.
Corner of your eye. Check your corner of your eye.
Oh man, no, don't hit me. Ah, that hurt. Ah.
Beat you like a bee.
No! Well, pretty much, yeah, but that's because he's a giant armored freaking psychopath. It doesn't quite work the same whenever I'm fighting something that's bigger than me and can do way more damage than me. Also faster than me and can do AoE stuns. Oh, ah, that! No! Well, there goes my clean playthrough. Oh well. I refuse to start over. That's fine. I already have the Brass Balls achievement, even if I do die. Let's go get him. This time, I'm just gonna beat him with my wrench. That's a euphemism for my dick.
The hammer is my penis.
See, the thing is, you can actually pull those jokes off every now and again, and it's really funny. But I don't know. There's some people that it's done too much now. It's not funny anymore.
I was referring to the Dr. Horrible sing-along.
Oh my God, Dr. Horrible! I haven't heard that in forever.
He's Captain Hammer. He's like sitting there singing it, and he's like, "You're the hammer is my penis."
Oh, damn it! Ah. So, okay, the little sister's already gone. God dang it! Now I gotta go hunting again. That's not fun. Where's the fun in that? All that work. So not only did I lose my perfect playthrough, which I guess I technically didn't need, but I would have liked to have done. I also didn't even get the little sister. Like, what was the point? What was the point? What is the purpose of this fucker? Why should I even continue anymore? As he sits there quietly, not answering my question.
I mean, in a way, yeah.
I'm doing other things too, okay? Sorry.
Yeah, but then why are you in here?
Because I use push to talk, so I'm not just constantly blasting people with audio.
Well, I personally, I
You know, I wish I have a friend of which that has a habit of like, you know, making cookies and drinking and all that when he's in a party. I wish he would do the same as you and use the push to talk a little bit more often. nothing more fun. It's just you're all just sitting there and you just hear.
See, I'm a big fan of the. I'm a big fan of the. I love that deep, heavy, like, you know, that breathing that just makes you want to cry. That always makes me feel good. Hacker's Delight, don't need that. Oh, make some hacking tools, absolutely. Trap bolts. Definitely want some traps up in here. Of course we do. Why wouldn't you want traps up in here?
Is it gay if it's a trap?
It's not gay if it's a trap. It's just a trap. It's different.
See, I beg to differ. You see, there's a saying I like. It's called "Traps are gay."
That's not really a saying. That's just truth.
Traps are gay, JFJ.
The trap is gay, but if you get taken in by a trap, you're just stupid.
Oh,
you see,
man.
some traps are real good at fucking doing that, though. Like, it's like depressingly.
That's why
so.
they're called traps.
Like, about the only people who can get away with that are, like, you know, like, Southeast Asian, like, lady boys because they're slight enough.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Oh no! I was about to tell you. I was about to say. I've had one or two of them hit on me, and I was like, oh yeah, but then something just seemed a little off, and I was like, I don't know.
No, trust me, there's a fair number of them in my town, and like, you know,
That's right. Oh, there's one. So that's right. You live in the sandy places.
Well, I live in the very left-leaning portion of the sandy place.
Oh, so you live in the major city, the major city.
One of the major city is not so left-leaning.
Really? I thought the capital was pretty left-leaning.
No, we've been invaded by a lot of Californians, but it's not that.
See, that sucks. Ow! Why? Why are you angrily trying to... Oh, you're gonna die. Pistol. I'm gonna, you know what? No. I'm gonna beat you to death. Oh, come on. What? There you go. So literally beat her so badly that she actually got stuck. God dang it. Alright, so let's see here. Let's go back to what I was doing.
I can see the
See, now the thing about weirdos and strange people is you have to validate them as long as they're useful. Like me. You have to validate me for as long as I'm useful. Alright, come here. Let me go. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, come on. Come on. Yeah, there's one. There's gonna be some more. Run right through them. Yeah. Come on. Crap. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Look at that.
See, that's some BS. It shouldn't have given that like that. It should have, you should have still taken the hit.
Nah, see, there is no physics. There's no such thing as physics.
I killed the rhino before it made contact with me, so it magically just passed through me.
Look, this is like 300 where I threw the spear at like the rhino's head, and it just falls down at my feet, even though it's like 10 feet from me at a full charge. That's how this works. I gotta wait for this timer to run down now, because I don't want to waste all that money I just saved, or made. Not even saved, made. So I got one more to do, and then we can move on. For every time I shoot a trap bolt. Gay man, where's the dress? Oh my god. So I had a really weird... So since I've been sick and now that I'm better, it's, you know, everything is great and just automatically awesome. I, for some reason, like, got really tired I think it was last night. And I was just thinking that firemen should wear, like, you know, tactical camouflage, because the houses wouldn't know, or the fire in the houses wouldn't know the firemen were there. And I was like, I think I've had one too many, like, hardcore things to knock off my,
just a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, I was awake enough to understand that what I was thinking was completely insane, but not completely there to understand why. I was like, I think I should, whatever I took, I think I took a little too much. Not quite sure where I went wrong. Oh, that's right. There's something in this room, but there it is. Bam. Here it is.
I should get some proper sleep.
No, we don't do that. We shouldn't have. I mean, honestly, sleep is for the weak.
You see, normally I would say the same, but you see, nothing more fun than you actually being at work. You being up in an area which, you know, just trying to take an inventory of certain items in a specific part of your store in the bag.
Yeah.
And not even realize you passed the fuck out for like a good 10 minutes because of how warm it is compared to everywhere else in the entire building, because you're that tired.
Yeah. See.
You see, at that point, I kind of have to, like, you know, maybe I should just get a little bit more sleep.
Oh, there's gonna be 6 of them up on here. So actually, funny story. When I was in the school of the high people, I actually was one of the first kids that had a car.
Oh boy.
And yeah, no, well, don't get too excited, because it was a little trash heap. But it was an old Buick, and I was up all night the night before because I was working. I worked through high school, and then at the same time, one second, you're dead. it went even further because I hadn't really been getting very good sleep because I was really, really stressed out with a bunch of stuff that was going on. And I actually was on the freeway and I passed out. And I was out for like, it was about 20-30 minute drive from where I lived to the high school. I woke up in the actual, like, I was parking when I woke up. And I literally was like, my eyes were closed, and I quite literally don't remember anything that just happened. So if I was actually awake for any of this, I don't have any, I have no memory of it.
Nice.
I know exactly how you feel. And it was right after that that I basically told myself and my boss right after that, I was like, I am no longer going to be doing this to myself because this is a really bad thing that I just did. Like, I could have killed myself or worse.
And not even known.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was like, and literally I would have died and been completely unaware of, like, what had happened. Like, that's whenever my boss was like, okay, you need to maybe, oh, god dang it, man. Like, maybe you should quit like, quit and focus on school, and I was like, no. It's like, I need the money. Alright, let's see here. He's almost dead. See, now, since I'm not actually going to be getting the achievement for this, or sorry, I guess I've already gotten it, so I really don't need it. Since I've already actually done it once, I'm not going to do it again. But since I already died, I'm not going to really worry too much about this anymore. Okay, is little sister with you? No! Yep, yes she is. Gotcha. See, the thing is, I always feel like I screwed up when I die. Dude, I love this guy's sweatshirt, this little sweater thing he's got on. This crocheted sweater. He's a mama's boy.
Thank you.
All right. Hello. Oh, hello. Jeez. Yeah. I turn you into ice when I hit you with a wrench. Oh my god, this again, like, of all the things that needs an actual update, it's this game, and for some reason, we're never gonna get it.
Everyone's focused on the multiplayers that make fuck tons of money just by simply existing.
Well, you can. Like, the thing is, there is multiplayer with this game. What the hell? Hello. Bioshock 2 introduced multiplayer. And it was actually a lot of fun if you got enough people to play. Now, granted, I only played for a little bit. I just like the story a lot. I like Bioshock. I think it's one of the best. I think it's one of the best single player story games that has been made. What the hell was that? Oh, okay, that's fine. I thought I heard something downstairs, and I was like, "What the sh?" And he was like, "No, it's just something upstairs. It's fine."
Oh, it's downstairs already.
Oh yeah. Oh, 1 second, guys. 1 second.
Ah. Will you knock it off?
Uh-oh. It's gone quiet and still.
Said you had to go do something.
It's either yelling at a cat or dealing with a crying child, I bet.
I was right. It was downstairs. I was like, "What the hell?"
What was it?
Was that kid you keep
so
in the bed?
No, so I have family that kind of comes. So basically, I've got family that comes in and out of my house pretty much freely, and they've got keys. But usually they let me know when they're coming, right? And so I didn't really ask what they were doing here because, you know, I'm doing this right now. But they just kind of walked in my door, and I was like, "You do realize that it's late, right?" It's like, you do realize that bad things could have happened, and you know what? Never mind. Just go away. So I was like, I thought I heard a noise, right? And I was like, no, that wasn't it. Couldn't be. And then all of a sudden, it's like, no, I heard movement. I heard movement. That was definitely something downstairs. Oh God.
It's like you start making your way down the stairs, and then before you turn a corner, you have a 12 gauge and you just cock it and just say, if anyone's in there, if I turn a corner, I see you, and you're not someone I know, I will start blasting.
Okay.
Basically.
Hey, you got a 12 gauge. It's starting to be chambered. You know, don't announce yourself. Don't play that game.
Fair amount of time, if you're getting robbed, as soon as you cock the 12 gauge, most people usually take the hint and not fuck around.
No, they don't, because if they're
$3
coming in while
in
you're
a
home,
suit.
they're already ready. They're not. Trust me, they're ready to deal with that.
3 dogs in a suit says, I keep getting a phone call about my school loan. I enjoy messing with them. It's like, dude. So I find myself very blessed in more than one way because I worked. One of the reasons why I worked in high school is because I knew I was never getting any kind of college like tuition help or anything. So
People are adamant saying, you will get one. No, the fuck I'm not. I know I'm not.
Well, the thing is that what they don't tell you is that the help comes with strings, right?
A lot of it.
Like, I know friends of mine that they're going to spend their entire adult life paying off their school loan. And any financial advisor would tell you this, which is if your field that you're going into is going to pay, let's just say the field that you go into pays you $50,000, right? And they offer you a loan even at a low interest rate, and it's going to cost you, let's say, $100,000. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You're going to spend more of your time paying off the debt than you are actually reaping the benefits of what you just got. It'd be better to do something else. And so I actually sat down with not a counselor. I sat down with an advisor, and then I sat down with I was lucky. I actually knew somebody who was in finance, and I was like, okay, cool. I mean, I don't know how what is a good deal here, right? Like, should I be paying $200,000 to get a degree in X? And they're like, no, because your average income is going to be roughly here to here, depending. It's not worth it. And he kind of explained to me how this whole game works, and I was like, why doesn't anybody tell us this? And it's like, because they have no incentive to do so.
It's a shell game. Like, it's such a scam.
Oh yeah, no, it is. College in many respects is exactly a scam. And I hate
College
saying
is a
that.
scam. Our medical system is a sham in totals.
So
No, our medical system is the worst because we're subsidizing all the other countries paying less for everything as part of the problem.
It's more than that, actually, because all this is true and yet also inadequate. So ours is not the worst in the world. It's the worst for, I guess you could say, the consumer. It's not the worst in regards for care, the quality, if you want to call it that.
We have good healthcare. Yes, we actually do have a good medically. Yeah, really good.
But it's failing. It's
But getting said medical, actually receiving it, and not it bankrupting you in the process. That's the hard part.
See, even then, that's partially true. It depends on what you're doing.
Really, in the end, it's all about a dude in a two-piece suit that has no medical degree whatsoever that's determining your life.
That's very true, and a lot of that comes down to like a lot of people like to say, "Oh, it's like it's capitalism, free market, whatever," and not really.
Capitalism or free market because the government interferes too much.
Exactly, and so well because I see it. I have family that's in the medical field. I know doctors personally. I know, and I get to see what happens every day. You want to know where all your freaking medical money goes to? It goes into some freaking moron who sits in a desk and doesn't do anything but go, hey, we need to spend $600 million on this. And we go, why? They go, well, because I kind of want it. And that's the end of the discussion. Because the guy's got the right little acronym in front of his name that says he's the head of some department that has nothing to do with medical care. And then you have people that are saying that, oh, hey, insurance is the only way you can actually get medical care. And by the way, insurance itself is a self-eating cycle. You want to know what's really stupid? If everybody has insurance, then that means that, like we have this now, where everybody has insurance. So basically what we end up with is a system that relies on the insurance. Well, guess what? That means they can raise their prices. Well, guess what? The hospitals are going to jack up their prices. Why? Because you'll never actually feel the pain of that. And then when it goes even higher, the insurance company will raise their rates. And so we have a self-feeding cycle. And because we've passed that point of no return, where we can't just get rid of it without causing a ton of pain. Sorry, 1 second.
No one's doing anything.
Like, the answer is very simple: get rid of insurance.
But it's so ingrained into everything that it would literally just shut down for like a week or two, if not longer.
It would shut down for about my guesstimation is about 6 to 8 months. We'd have about 6 to 8 months where nothing in the medical field would happen because people would still be trying to figure out how to make the old system still work with the new paradigm of a lack of insurance. Entire systems, structures, and jobs would be destroyed, all because insurance would no longer exist. But the end result would be a much flatter and fair competitive market, because the thing is that a lot of regulation doesn't come down to, it does come down to medical care, but it also comes down to regulating insurance companies. And so we have this nice, easily explain-awayable issue that we could just say, oh, we need to throw more money at it, and that's never the issue. That's never going to be the problem, or that's never going to be the solution.
Yeah, it never solves any of the problems.
Oh, it never does, and it never will, but that's the point. You know, like the thing is that everybody's happy with that. Hospital administrators are happy with that. Insurance companies are happy with that. Everybody that matters, all the people that'll actually push and move stuff, they're all very happy with that deal. The only people that get screwed in this scenario is you. Like
the few doctors that actually want to make a difference.
And that's true. And the thing is that the younger the doctors, the less they care, because they're there to make money, right?
Pretty much.
And that's not all of them, but a lot of doctors that I've seen, I'm like, man, I fear if I ever need help, like, I never want you guys to work on me at all. Like, I know a doctor that actually forgot a scalpel in someone's chest.
How do you fuck up that hard? Do you forget a scalpel in a chest?
He kept his job.
How do you set the scalpel down in the chest to begin with?
I have no goddamn clue.
I've dealt with like, you know, various medical equipment before, because I have Infinity with Sharp Object. I don't know how I get a hold of certain ones, but scalpels are not something you just want to casually place on a human body, let alone in a human body.
But the fact that he actually... So here's the thing. I can understand you dropping a utensil. That's not beyond the realm of possibility, right?
That can happen.
Absolutely.
Especially if you got blood in your gloves and this and that, metal, it happens.
Well, but you know, the gloves are kind of they're kind of sticky, right? They're sticky because, you know, you don't want to lose them. But it's not beyond the realm of possibility. So what do? Oh, you nick something? What do? You sew it up, you fix it. You're done. You know, sometimes you just quickly cauterize it, whatever it is that you just scratched. It doesn't really matter.
Usually it's it usually doesn't require too much of a fix nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, probably not so much. But, you know, either way it goes. Either way it goes, you have a doctor that made a mistake, fine, and then decides, it's not like you don't know, right? It's not that you don't know. But you are in a room, a surgical room, where your nurses don't know. That's insane. Your actual, I forget what they're called, but there's different nurses with different jobs. I forget all the names. All of them didn't call them on it. Not a single person called them on it. And you want to know why? They're scared to lose their job. Like, I was like, that right there is the perfect storm of some poor guy dying on a table or dying in his room because this guy couldn't be bothered to care enough to keep track of his own utensils, which, by the way, isn't that hard to do. Like,
it's not.
Imagine keeping track of a pencil.
It's like construction work. You gotta keep it where you always see it. You can't just place it somewhere randomly.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's. I mean, yes, but like I would say, you know, hey, whenever you say, hey, I need this, they hand it to you. You have someone there who literally has a tray, and their only job is to know the things on the tray. And then you say, I need forceps, and they hand you forceps. That way you never look away. Your face is pinned into that person's freaking chest cavity or wherever it is that they are.
The question becomes is like the nurse that's assisting the doctor, like they're supposed to sit there and keep track of that stuff too. So I mean, it's like a double failure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I sat, but the reason was, and to be honest, after all the investigations were done, the nurse was scared. She didn't want to lose her job. Like that.
Because getting to the medical field is hard as hell, and usually requires so much of your investment that basically, if you go in and you get booted out for whatever reason, you basically just forfeit your life.
Pretty much. Like that's it. And I was like, and my first response was, well, you should be fired for not saying something. And the reason is because some hospitals can be very political. I say some. They're all freaking political.
They are.
And so you have someone that goes, well, I didn't want to piss off this doctor because if I did, he would basically, because he's not going anywhere. And she wasn't wrong, right?
She's not wrong, but still needs to be done.
Yeah, but well, the doctor needs to be fired. But the thing is that surgeons are hard to come by. And
Very.
General surgeons even more so. Ironically, hospital administration doesn't know that, but everybody else does. General surgeons, they don't sound like they're anything special. General surgeons are the most well-trained surgeons you're going to find because they're trained to do almost anything.
Anything, usually on the spot, fair amount of the time.
Pretty much.
Like, yeah, I literally need you to patch up this dude's heart because it literally just took literally to a gunshot wound and it just barely grazed it. I need you to patch this shit up.
Pretty much.
Okay. And that, like 20 minutes later, he manages to do that. Okay, now I need you to fix his internal hemorrhaging that's happening over here in the abdominal where we don't know where. Figure it out.
Pretty much.
And it's just that's their job, and they are good at that shit.
Ah, god dang.
I gotta let the dog out. Be right back.
But yeah, no, general surgeons are hard to come by. So whenever they screw up, they can be, they'll usually sweep it under the rug. But I know some people that have actually, like, I can't say too much specifically because this is potentially a legal thing. I know people that guy's killed. Like, not personally, but I've seen them as they were carted in and carted out. Like, it's a very conflicting thing. And I was like, it's not my business, but I know that whenever somebody goes in for that guy, or went in for that guy, because now he no longer works for us, I was like, I know this person didn't die randomly, right? Sorry, don't mean to bring the stream down or anything like that, but just, yeah, so, I know, I'm sorry. I shouldn't do that, but,
Oh no, that dude needs to be in a ditch.
Oh no, he does. But I mean, who wants to hear about that? Especially now, if somebody's actually going into the doctor's office, I'm sure your doctor's fine. I'm not saying the guy that I'm talking about is the normal one. But it's just like that one bad pilot. You're always kind of scared that you might have the one bad pilot, even though like the odds of you getting him are essentially non-existent. But yeah, no, it's also one of those moments where it's very much the scenario where that guy never actually saw justice. Like that guy straight up due to negligence murdered people. But yeah, no. So our medical industry is not screwed up because of anything other than insurance and regulation. Like you knock out those two things, and our medical system goes back to a very realistic standard of what we need very fast. Alright, let's see here. I need machine gun damage increase. Well, I like using the machine gun. There we go. Let's see here.
I don't trust that road.
Wrench Lurker 2! Alright, so Photographer's Eye 2.
I believed in Ryan. But when it got hard, Ryan didn't believe in rapture. Didn't
Let's
believe
see
in the great
here.
chain. He believed in power. And now this place is Gusto. And my girl is...
First aid gives you slightly more health.
Come on.
Ugh. Where's my phone? There it is.
One of those... things.
Insect Swarm. Do I have Insect Swarm yet? I don't even know.
Maybe.
Well, only one way to find out.
I think I do, actually. No, I don't. Man, I haven't upgraded my plasma slots yet. Man, I love this thing. Insect Swarm is so much fun.
It's always like those few things in Bioshock that are just like better than most.
Well, it's just fun.
My personal favorite in Bioshock Infinite was fucking Bronco.
Oh, Infinite. Oh, no. Come on, man. Don't do that to me.
I like Infinite.
So it's okay. You know what? I understand that there are things that are enjoyable about it. I don't like it. The story makes absolutely no goddamn sense.
Well, everyone has their own opinion on things, just like you personally don't like Book of Boba Fett.
Okay, first off, the last episode didn't even involve Boba Fett!
Well, you may. Well, if you talk about 5, 6 is the same thing.
Oh my god.
I just think we should cancel the entirety of Disney stuff.
Can we just cancel Disney?
I personally beg to differ. Then again, no, I just kind of started nutting over various bits of the Star Wars fandom. You know, things being put in action. So you know.
Stick with me, kid. I'll teach you all the ways.
You don't need to be taught anything about Star Wars. Trust me.
Here's the thing. I love Star Wars.
If you think Disney doesn't suck.
I loved Star Wars for a long time, and then when I heard Disney bought Star Wars, I quite literally looked at a buddy of mine and I said, "That's it. I can no longer be like, I cannot really consider I cannot consider Star Wars to be a franchise that I'm actually interested in anymore." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Dude, like it's Disney, man. Like that's it. Star Wars dies here." And he's like, "No." And then, of course,
some ways, it still is.
It's dead. It's dead. Star Wars is dead. I'm not saying that there's... See, here's the thing. I'm not saying there's nothing at all that's interesting about the new Star Wars whatsoever. I'm saying that overall, Star Wars is dead. There's going to be little one-offs here and there. Like Mandalorian episodes 1 through 3 was pretty good.
Right. I personally am kind of glad to see the Black Saber in action and actually hearing more lore about the Black Saber and all that. But that's mainly me and my friend personally having a certain love for various bits of Star Wars that are rarely ever talked about or looked into.
Well, the problem is that they can't even keep their own lore for the Black Saber correct. Like, their own lore doesn't work. So, like, was it episode 5? Because I'm still behind. Like, I try to keep up, but I'm still behind.
It's at 6 right now.
This is 6, yeah. I think I saw 5. Let me get a drink before I go on this tirade.
Go on all the tirade.
So, at the end of Mandalorian Season 2, Mando fights...
Spoiler alert.
What's up?
Spoiler alert for anyone in the chat
yeah.
that gives a shit.
That's fair enough, yeah. I'm just so used to my own people being like, yeah.
Just for anyone in the chat that really wants to give a shit about spoilers, I personally think it's stupid to care about spoilers, but that's just me personally.
Well, it's been out for a little while, so... yeah, thank you for that, though. At the end of Mandalorian Season 2, I forget Moff Tarkin? Is that what his name is? I forget.
No, Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon. Tarkin is the Death Star guy.
Tarkin? Yeah, he's the guy which that pretty much was the asshole to die on the first Death Star, and good fucking
he's not an ass. That guy was great. I loved Moff Tarkin. He's a great bad guy. He should have
in the Empire, liked him, but when it came down to like shit in the Clone Wars, he was just a dick just to be a dick.
I never saw the Clone Wars. So I tried to watch
the Clone Wars. In the Clone Wars, he was straight up an ass.
Well, that's kind of, well, it doesn't matter. Right now. So, God dang it, all this lore dumping is making me get distracted. So, the Darksaber was not heavy. Moff Gideon was able to swing that thing pretty easily and pretty effectively, right? And then,
considering what she said, probably is because he was probably more attuned with how it was working, where instead of quote-unquote fighting against it, he actually was willing to actually just let it take control. Like I said, lightsabers are an odd thing for a amount of time, because usually they are their own fucking things in the Force, usually, depending on various variables.
Well, see, the problem with that is that there's not a whole lot of lore behind that I'm aware of. I mean, that being said, expanded universe...
The only thing I knew that, on top of my memory for everything I could think about the Darksaber, the only thing that I know about, other than it being one of a kind and being produced by the one and only Mandalorian Jedi in existence, as far as we know, from thousands of years ago, is that it actually is one of the things where supposedly it's even believed to basically just seems to suck the light out of just rooms and stuff like that. Like the room and all that was seen to darken based off of various emotions of said person that was wielding it. Like beyond that, and finding out that that the blade might be hotter than any lightsaber concerning factors, it's able to literally heat up Beskar, which Ahsoka's lightsaber shown could not do. With it already, that other than that, ain't much else beyond that.
See, again, like with stuff like this, if they explain this, it might
Which I'm
be.
certain they will.
But they've already failed at doing so many different things of explaining how things work. I don't give Disney enough credit to actually be able to do that. I'm sure that they could, but I think that they would think that it'd be kind of a waste of their time.
When in doubt, if they don't, the fan base will.
But that's their job, right?
Yes,
Like,
I know.
Like, you know, as a storyteller, your job is to tell the audience what it is that you need to.
Keeping in mind who's actually in charge of Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian, I think it will, considering the fact that it's not full Disney people that were in charge like the movies. It was like actually George Lucas and all of them, and a couple of people of his choosing.
I want to believe you that, I really do, but according to what's the guy's name from Book of Boba Fett? Who's Boba Fett? What's his name?
What's that actor for Boba?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
So he actually, in an interview, quite literally admitted that Jon Favreau did not show up on set 90% of the time. He was always away. And so he basically goes, here's my script, here's what I want to be done, and that's it. And if you have any questions, I'll maybe deal with them later. He does not sound like he actually cares that much about the Book of Boba Fett.
Probably.
Which is kind of sad, because of the two of them, Mandalorian or Boba Fett, I'm far more interested in Boba Fett. Although Mandalorian was a good empty slate that we could have worked off of, but they, in my opinion, they've burned that bridge to me. Like, if they made Mandalorian a fresh Mandalorian, like, you know, a fresh bounty hunter, like still getting the ropes and still figuring out how to be one, I would see some of the stupid decisions he makes as being acceptable. But saying, oh no, he's like a veteran, it's like, then why are you doing really stupid crap all the time? Why are you walking into stuff that you know is a trap? Like, what are you doing? Let's see here. Sonic Boom. Engineering tonic.
So honestly though, Jin Darin, you should be really glad he has like on for his armor, he has more Beskar than most Mandalorians usually tend to have.
It just looks like Mandalorian armor to me.
No, I'm saying like usually like has on him. Like most Mandalorians usually only have like usually whatever have like chest plates and van braces and the helmet, and maybe some bracers. That's pretty much usually would be it.
See, to me, Mandalorian armor is Mandalorian armor all the way through. Like, if there's different versions in the expanded lore, I'm not aware of it.
Well, usually most pieces that are made of the Beskar metal usually is. Usually it's like very limited most of the time, unless it's like a specific type of shit. But the fact that he has on a lot more than most Mandalorians usually have on.
Oh yeah, and then
but it's really the reason that's keeping him alive.
Well, I mean, but yeah, that's true too. But I'm talking about like whenever he goes on. So one of the first things that I'd think of is the what was not the train heist? It was the prison heist. That's what it
Breakout.
is. Yeah, the prison breakout. He knew that was a trap. That's obviously a trap. I'd have to rewatch the episode, but there's that plus a lot of the stuff that he does. I'm like, this doesn't make sense if you are trying to make any kind of rational decision whatsoever. Like, again, he is a cold-blooded, you know, mercenary style crap. What's up?
Basically, what most Mandalorians are of, I don't really give a shit who I have to kill. If it means killing literally everyone, I will.
Well, that's fine, except for the part where, again, like, they're not going to put themselves directly into harm's way just to do that.
Not all of them.
I mean, but again, you're a mercenary, you're a bounty hunter. You're not going to simply dive into a suicide mission just so you can kill a few people for no purpose other than killing a few people.
I could take you in warm, or I could take you in cold. The one thing I do kind of like about they showed in that 5th episode is it shows the one thing in which that pretty much a lot of people would pretty much always say all the time, and yeah, a lot of people want to argue is not the case. Not just anyone can use a lightsaber.
Oh yeah, no, of course. Well, first not.
Because near everyone likes to say anyone could use a lightsaber. Yeah, technically anyone can. Doesn't mean anyone should.
Well, it's the same argument that anybody can use a sword. In theory, yes, but not in practice. Like if you hand a 10-year-old a sword, like there's probably going to be some really bad outcomes, right? Maybe not necessarily for everybody, but to wield a sword, you're probably going to first want a dull blade, because as you are going to learn flourishes and things like that, you're probably going to cut yourself. And it's not going to be fun, because a actually sharp sword is going to cut you, and it's designed to cut flesh pretty easily. Depending upon the sword, you're going to cut a lot more than others.
Usually one sword which that people like to really flourish or really go out of the way to learn.
Well, I mean, like let's say you use a rapier. You know, of course, if you poke yourself, it's going to go probably pretty deep. Well, I guess it's going to be hard to poke yourself. But if you get yourself in the leg or something, that scratch is going to be pretty nasty. If you get yourself
if you
like
manage
a...
to run yourself through with a rapier, you've done something way
Well,
wrong.
but you know, the thing is, the rapiers, part of the game is to make the blade kind of like pivot, right? If I'm understanding, if I'm thinking of the right sword, not maybe what are those fencing swords? It's not a rapier. Sorry, that's not a rapier. That's just
There's
just a
lots of
sword.
different types of swords to fence with. You know, rapier's one of.
Yeah, there's there's the rapiers. There's like arming swords. You got broadswords, short swords, but different ones require different techniques. You must learn them all if you're going. If you're going to have to learn all of them for that sword if you're going to be efficient or proficient at it. You can't just pick it up and know it. You know, just because you know how to fight with a broadsword doesn't mean you know how to fight with a long sword. They may be similar.
Yeah.
But you're still going to probably hurt yourself a couple times, or at least smack yourself a couple times before you actually figure it out. The same thing goes with the lightsaber. Just bare bones training is the expected minimum. So I would say that, yeah, it is something that anybody should be able to do if they are trained enough, but it's like, yeah, but if you screw up, you die. Like, you don't get to lob off your arm and walk away. For some reason, that seems to be a fatal thing sometimes. Back that. All right, let's see. Where's the? At least that's my. That's always been my interpretation. Hello. Ow. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. I have played this game forever and a day, and I've never actually done this. Oh my god, that's so cool. I can literally redirect these things. Oh my god, why am I stupid? Ow. Also, does it just me, or does the production quality for Boba Fett seem a lot lower than The Mandalorian?
Can't really say.
I just there's a couple little things here and there that kind of go, does this not look... It doesn't look... I wouldn't say it look as clean, it just doesn't look as good.
I personally feel like it's definitely relying more on, because one thing they tried doing Mandalorian is actually using a little bit more on-hand shit and not as much effects. Personally,
I couldn't really say what they use more of in Mandalorian. Because yeah, like, I've tried to. Let's say I've tried to. I've kind of pulled away from watching a lot of that stuff, but I just every now and again I'll try to watch it. I've been watching Book of Boba Fett because I heard. Honestly, the thing that turned me onto it was the Dr. Seuss speeder bikes. That I couldn't stay away. The Dr. Seuss speeder bikes was too much, and I was like, okay, I gotta see this because there's no way this is real. And sure enough, it was real.
I still keep thinking back to it. I just keep seeing that scene from fucking Madagascar 3.
Oh my god. It just makes me cry.
It looks like I did taxes right. I only owed the government $14.
Oh well, I need to do my taxes. I just don't want to do my
Yeah.
taxes.
Cause me, like, I just don't feel like doing it now. Here's the worst part about the mentality of taxes. It's not hard.
Well,
Once
it's
you get
not
the paper-
hard.
It's not. Once you get the paperwork and all, it's trying to usually wait for the paperwork and make sure you get the right paperwork. That's the only really hard part.
No, the hard part of it is it's complete bullshit and shouldn't exist.
Pretty much. I mean, the hardest part is handing over money that I earned and worked for over to somebody who did not work for it.
And he's gonna piss it away.
Yeah. Usually my issue is not that, like, hey, we should help the poor. Like, yeah, sure, I could probably do that. I know some people that are in need that could use some help this month. I could probably use my money more effectively than you can. See, here's the thing. Like, in an ideal world, I would say no taxes. But like, if I was to make middle ground, I'm happy to have middle ground. The middle ground being the fact that we get rid of the income tax entirely.
There should be no federal taxes, period.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm right there too.
And even at the state level, like, a lot of that shit should be completely by choice. There should be really no mandatory taxes. Just, you don't get the services associated with it if you don't pay into it.
You know what's funny is that a long time ago, the income tax, the form for income taxes has existed for a long time, but the actual income tax has not. And so there was a time when people literally voluntarily filed their income, like, just to tell the government, hey, this is how much money I made. That was it. There was no income tax. There was no federal taxes whatsoever. And you know what? We still had all the cool stuff that we have now, except it worked.
Yeah.
My personal favorite is like, who will build the roads? It's like, bro, we actually had roads, and all those roads that we had way back then, do you know those are actually the best roads we've had?
See, for me, I know the feeling of bad roads because I live in Michigan. There's one thing we're notorious for. It's shit roads.
Well, that's because of the ice.
My city will compete
And the
with you for
constant
that.
salting
don't
we
even
have to
the
do
ice.
every single year. Yeah, it's great.
Well,
But here's the thing now. Considering the fact that we are, quote, the Motor City, you'd think they give a bit more of a shit about their roads, you know?
No, of
Just a
course
little bit more.
I haven't been to Motor City in a hot minute.
I would say you're not missing out that much, but I don't live in Detroit.
I was gonna say, I mean, like, you know, I see there's so many cities that are now dead, and they're dead because of, like, poor political decisions. They're not dead because the actual industry is not good anymore. They're just dead because of politics. That's the sad part.
Politics don't know how to keep their nose out of certain people's business.
See, that's what the mafia says, and I agree.
At least the mafia need to keep themselves away from certain businesses. Like, okay, we could get involved with this.
Oh no, they did. No, they
Why do we have-
didn't. That is a fabrication. That is an absolute fabrication of the. What is it? The not media, but the Hollywood. That is Hollywood fabricating a worldview. That on the surface they definitely said that. In the reality, they never did. Like, they loved drugs. Are you kidding me?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying mere fact is they didn't fuck with automobiles.
Oh yeah, they did. Are you kidding? They had chop shops everywhere.
I'm just now so imagining it like you just go to a chop shop and it's just a bunch of like stereotypical like mobsters.
Well, the thing is, back in the day, actually, so there are some truths that exist from back then. So, like, one of them is the fact that there was an honor system back in the day. Like, you were doing business, right? You didn't just screw people over and that be the end.
It
of it,
was
right?
scummy business at the end of the day, but still business.
Exactly. You may be screwing somebody over in 1,000 other ways, but you're not actually, you know, you're still providing them with what you gave them. Like, you're not telling them a lie. It may come with a bunch of strings attached, but you're not actually going to screw them out of what you promised them, right?
And depending on the business partner, you wouldn't even dare try to screw them over because you know what would happen if you did.
Pretty much, yeah. Because if they knew you were if they knew that you were in business with the mob, they're not going to screw you over more than likely because they're terrified of what'll happen to them. all it takes is like, hey, where's my money? It's like, this guy's took it from me. This guy over here. What happened? Yeah, I had your money. This guy took it from me. He screwed me over. No. We didn't do that.
Rand?
Where's my money? Where's my money, bitch?
Pretty much. That's where that's where it comes from. But
I want to say, was it during? Was
But
it when we were
anyways,
in Cuba, or was it during World War II? There was a time where the U.S. military actually made deals with the mafia to pretty much like make sure no one would invade certain waters, like at all.
I know they did some well, not no. I think they did some minor dealings in World War II with the Italian mob, but I couldn't.
I want to say they did something because I do remember very clearly they made it where in case of an invasion, the mafia would help to their fullest extent to defend like the land, like our land if our waters were invaded for whatever reason. I want to say something around that. I could be way off. This is like fact which I heard way long ago, but that was like an actual deal they made with said mafia. They would literally like actually make deals with them if they had to because that's how much shit they were able to do back in the day.
Well, because they could. Well, I remember. I vaguely remember hearing about that, but I couldn't give you specifics.
Imagine you as a new dude, you know, being brought on to like first time you're like dealing with negotiations, this like that, and your first task is literally go and talk with mafia members to make a deal.
Oh no, that
While
would be,
you were working for the government.
that would be OSS or something like that. That wouldn't be like that would they would not put that in the hands of somebody who's new because the new person would be chewed up and spit out. Not physically, but like just they would be taken for a ride. You know, it's like you don't walk into a viper's nest and not, you know, have something to protect yourself with, like metaphorically speaking.
But still, I find the concept funny though.
Yeah, no, I think they also use them for smuggling things in and out of places.
Mm-hmm. Like various shit, dude. It's crazy shit.
But anyway, so my point was that, like, back in the day, ironically, the idea of getting rid of organized crime from back in the day actually created the issues we have today with modern gangs. All they did was cut the head off of a snake, and instead of actually killing the snake, they just made 1,000 of the little snakes.
And now they're all pissed and scattered all over the place, and no one knows what the fuck to do.
Oh no, they know what to do with them. It's just, well, sorry, I wouldn't even say they know what to do with them. That's not fair. It's not that they don't know where they are or what they're doing. It's that, you know, before you had one centralized organization with a few key members. Well, okay, what the hell just happened here? It's that you have. Oh, sorry. It's just not worth the effort to deal with them half the time. And honestly, in many cases, you have police and law enforcement in on the take, just in a different way than they used to. So, like before, you'd have the mob paying off the cops to do whatever the hell they wanted to, for the most part, right? You couldn't get away with like shooting somebody in broad daylight if they're a civilian, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a big no-no. But, you know, nowadays you can get away with it if you're in certain areas. And it's not because they've paid off the cops, but because the cops are also in on the drug trade. Like, we see it all the time. If you actually just read the news, it's one of the things I actually was reading about, like, what, 2-3 days ago when I was starting to feel a little bit better. I was just reading about how essentially, like, the FBI raided a drug house. Okay, well, you know, what happened to that group? Well, that group actually didn't get charged with anything. Why? Because they were actually FBI as well. It's a giant, sick freaking cycle, and I hate it. And it's like the actual feds are involved with drug trades as well. I'm not so sure how close it is with local police, but I know that local police do it too, because they get federal money for doing crap like that.
It's like that meme I saw where undercover cops busted undercover cops.
Yeah, literally, but that's why it's funny, because it's real. It's not a joke. It's 100% real. As a matter of fact, there used to be a credit card scamming operation not too far from where I used to live, and I was walking down the street, and literally cops just started swarming the street and just swatting this house for credit card guys. Come on, they're credit card guys. Like, they're not going to do a last stand for credit card fraud. Like,
But still, fuck them, they're assholes.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, but it turns out, who are they? They're, like, most of them were informants for local and federal police.
Nice.
And it's just like, good freaking God, people. Like, how much do you have to screw up every day to get here? We're like, oh, we basically busted the feds doing something illegal. And it's like, are there actual criminals in the U.S.? Like,
Is this right? I don't know.
Well, seriously. Because, you know, I know that there are, but at the same time, it's okay, are you legislating these criminals or these actual bad guys, right? So, like, or worse, or what you are...
The worst criminals in America are government officials.
Oh, I agree entirely. Because again, I wouldn't have agreed with you even a few years ago. But now that I've kind of just been looking around more, I'm like, good lord, guys, can you just try to not be freaking like federal criminals? Like if you, what was it?
Y'all like try not to fuck up.
No, that's not even screwing up. It's just quite literally they're doing it on purpose. They do it because, so the way this works is that their budget works off of what they do, right? It's based off of like how well they do in something or how many criminals they put away, right? So what do? They start finding criminals. They start making them up. Like let's be real. The FBI, let's be real. The FBI is a temporary organization. I don't mean that as in like it literally is. No, it was made to be a temporary organization to be shut down upon completion of its mission. That mission's been done for decades. And it's still here.
Mission then.
What's up?
What was our main mission back in the day?
To destroy the mob. To get rid of organized crime. Organized crime, like the way that it was, organized crime is gone.
In a way, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's gone. It's been replaced by the FBI. Like,
yeah, sure.
And I might be being slightly hyperbolic with that, but in my opinion, it's been replaced.
Slightly,
by,
maybe. That's just putting it mildly, but still.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's been replaced
Semantic.
by. Yeah, basically, it's been replaced by the FBI. That's my opinion. Now, not every single trade, not every single thing, but if we want to get into the honesty of it.
Not every agent and blah blah blah.
Well, if you're a field agent, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure that, people like to say like, oh, let's not go after the rank and file, and I was like, no, let's go after the rank and file, man. Like hold people's feet to the. Here's the thing, I would never be given such. I would never be given such leeway, even if I was given a parking ticket for these people. These people would drag me through the mud if they had the chance. Why should I ever give them the benefit of the doubt? And no one should, because these people have a lot of power. Not that I want to preach tonight. I'm just saying. I don't even know how we got here. How did we even get here?
we were originally just talking about the Star Wars and the Mandalorian, and we just wound up talking about the FBI and them doing shit like they shouldn't be doing. Like, honestly, that's just more like, where did the conversations go when you really just let a group of guys talk?
Yeah, I know. I really
and women say we don't conversate. It's like, we do. We just don't want to conversate the things you want to conversate about.
Oh my god. Getting women to stop talking when you want them to stop is a task in and of itself.
We're not sexist. We're just being literal.
Yes. In some cases, yes. I don't even care. Call me. I just don't care. I can't be bothered to care. You know what? Here's the funny part. Here's the funny part. I've never met a woman that actually cared that much. I've never met a woman that actually cared. Like, if a woman was always, if a man always defers to a woman's opinion of, like, speaking, it may be courtesy. Like, if you're in one-on-one scenarios, I've never met a woman that respects a man for that. Never. Now, if you're being overtly a dick, like you're cutting her off every 5 minutes, it's a different story. Okay, I'm missing, like, one little piece, and I can't remember what the hell it is. What is it? What am I supposed to be getting?
It's like me hearing conversations like, oh, I got my nails done, but I was like, normally I say nice, but honestly, I just do not care.
Well, so no, if they're telling me that, I'm like, okay, I'll listen. It's not a big deal, right? But if it's something really stupid, or if they, I just
like sometimes they want to vent about things. Like that's what my mom does whenever I get off of work. She just starts venting to me about her work, and I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
you need to do it.
Fine. You gotta listen. I mean, listening
better
is
you than me, I guess. But could you probably wait until I get home and I take off my work clothes and actually get into something like my actual clothing?
Yeah.
Maybe before you start venting.
It doesn't get any better, man. I'm just telling you right now. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter where you go. There's always going to be somebody that wants to talk to you and yap your ear off, and that's fine. Here's the thing: I don't mind it at all.
I don't mind it because I can't really argue, debate, because I would do the same thing given enough time.
It could be fun to talk to people like that, Like whenever they're coming home from the other day, it's always entertaining to listen to them kind of describe their day, because like I'll usually want to hear more because I think they're fun, interesting stories. I like to tell stories on my channel. And whether that be my own stories or somebody else's stories. Now, some stories I can't tell, or at least I haven't actually had enough to drink yet to be confident enough that I should say them. Now, if I get like 1 or 2 extra drinks some nights, is that all I have to do? Just keep it that? Oh my god, I'm retarded. I'm sorry, guys. I'm
Like
retarded.
one day you just do a drinking stream.
See, I actually try to avoid that.
You can actually. Here's the thing I find it funny though. You can do that on Twitch.
Oh, yeah, you can.
And I find it fucking baffling. It's like fucking hysterical. Like all the things you don't allow, you allow that. I have no problem with that. I'm just saying. I thought that'd be like numero uno on the top of the list, but no.
No. Well, drinking on stream is not gonna be a problem. The thing is here's the thing. I think getting drunk on stream is a little bit weird. But like, if there's some days where it's like, hey, I mean, I'm not feeling well or whatever, then like maybe I'll be a little bit more loopy and not quite 100% there. And so I'm like, this will be a funny story. And it's like, wait a minute, hold on, this is not a funny story. This is a sad story. God dang it.
Just start telling them about your
There we go. Alright, now I've got all the pieces I need. But yeah, no, I like to hear people's stories like that, even if I think they're boring or wherever they're going, because there's always something that can go on, right? There's always something that can be angled at a little bit, because stories are fun. Everybody likes to hear stories. I've never met somebody that doesn't like to hear a good story. I'll take it back. I know one person doesn't like to hear a good story. They're just really weird, though.
And before you get the one dude in the chat, I hate stories.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no. I think most people in my chat are really quiet right now because they're all playing their own games and doing their own stuff. I mean, I stream Bioshock more for me right now than I do for anybody else, and I know this. I know this is true.
That's what I would do with Devil May Cry. If I want to fucking play something to play, I cry.
Like, whenever I want to make a fool of myself, I'll usually play a game I've never played before, or I'll play a game that I know I'm not very good at, that kind of stuff.
Like Payday?
Like Payday, exactly. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to die a lot. It'll be fun. Everybody wins.
And you're underneath overkill difficulty, and I'm still tempted to shove you into death sentence just to see what happens.
I'll die a lot, because that's how the game's scaling works. I'll just get down in 3 or 4 times, and I'll be sitting in custody, just going like, all right, what's a good story to tell while we're here? You know, what's a funny story? How about the time that I got thrown in the back of a squad car and didn't know? You know, it's like, yeah. By the way, that's a very funny story, because the guy arrested me and I didn't know what the hell I did. But I was actually with some friends whenever this happened, and
so you got arrested, you were getting shoved in the cop car, and you had no idea why the fuck you were.
No, he never told me. And
never told you.
No, he never did. But I gotta tell you the rest of the story. I gotta tell you the rest of the story, because it gets even worse. So, I was with some friends of mine. We were at Sonic, you know, like those the little burger joints, and we're one of the only people that actually lived in the area. And because we could just walk there, we didn't have a car or anything, so we're just there, and we're just sitting at the table, and he goes, you myth, you know. I was like, what? He's like, come here. It's like, oh my god, what did I do? And he's like, you're under arrest. I was like, oh my god, what did I do? And my friend's like, oh my god, what is going on right now? Because we're all a bunch of stupid teenagers. And this guy's like actually like roughing me up a little bit. He's throwing me against his car. Hello, whoa. And he's not hurting me. It's just he's making a show of it, right?
Right.
And I'm like, you know, it didn't feel good being thrown up against a car while this guy was like nailing my hands to my back, and then he basically just yanks my neck down and throws me to the back of a squad car, and I'm bawling. I'm terrified. I have no idea what I just did, and I know that my parents are going to murder me with a freaking linoleum spoon as soon as they find out that I just got arrested. I'm sitting there going through my head all the things that I'd done the past week, going, okay, hold on. I think I was late to class once. I mean, I think no, I returned this. No, that's not there. No, I don't think that's gonna. Are they gonna like jail me for forgetting to return a movie 2 days late? I don't know. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm trying to figure out what the hell I did, and the entire time he's like, man, you have no idea how much trouble you're in, mister. And I was like, I don't know what I did. And he's like, oh, huh? Yeah, being a wise ass, huh? And I was like, no, I don't know what I did. He's like, oh, you'll find out when you get to the station. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I have no clue what it is that I have done to make you so unhappy and so angry at me. I forgot what I'm doing.
Dude.
And then I pull up, like, I'm sitting there and I'm crying so bad. I genuinely don't know what it is that I've done. And then finally we pull up to my house, and I'm now somewhat relieved and actually even more terrified. Because I'm like, I'm now at the point of where I'm actually starting to shake, because I'm like, oh my god, he's not taking me to the state, he's taking me home. My parents are going to see me marched to my house, handcuffed to my back, as a police officer is pissed off and telling them that I am in deep, deep, deep trouble.
For what? I don't know.
Exactly. And I'm like, I'm trying to sit there, I'm trying to think of words to say, like, please don't take me home. Please take me to jail. Please don't take me home.
Like, would you ever go to jail? Then
I was just like, please, anywhere but here. Please take me to jail. Don't take me
because
home.
they might actually kill
I
me.
was like, exactly. I was like, my mom will be, like, the look my mom's face will have when she decides that, you know. I was like, nah. My mom sees me.
I'm gonna have
handcuffed.
I'm gonna have a delayed abortion real quick.
But basically, yes. And no.
Well, no, engineer, but if I read these
All right, hold on,
plans
let's see
right,
here.
you can channel that magma flow using the redirect valve.
That's what it is.
It'll boil off that water right
And
quick,
so we
then
pull
you'll
up to
be
the
able to reach
house,
core.
and my family's having like a little house party.
Might want to
Like,
set
it's
up
called
Oh,
a
no.
late night house party. And I'm like, "Fuck! You cannot make this up. You cannot plan this better. And I walk in, and he then like frog marches me to my mom and my stepdad. And they look and they just start laughing, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm like very confused now.
And still very much scared.
It's terrified to my freaking core that I'm gonna be, well, I gotta get. I was like, at best, I'm gonna be grounded. At worst, I'm going to be literally shipped off to boot camp for the rest of my adult life. And they start laughing, and he starts laughing. The police officer starts laughing. He uncuffs me and goes, "Ah, that was fun." And
You mean?
that, and now I'm furious because now I'm like, what the hell just happened? And it turns out this guy was a friend of my stepdad, and they thought it would be really funny to embarrass me in front of my friends.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, you have no idea how. Do you realize like the past 5 minutes felt like an eternity? And they're like, yeah, probably. And I was like, and that's funny to you? And he's like, well, it is funny because nothing happened. I was like, that's not how funny works. Like, imagine if I like told you that your car had been smashed up, and you walked outside and found out that there was nothing wrong with it. Like, would that make you feel better because nothing happened to it, or would you feel that I had just basically screwed you over because that's not cool? And of course, they go, "That's fine. You're some stupid teenager. You're fine." I'm like, "Yeah, got it. Thanks, a-hole."
Hard for life at all?
So
No,
really,
not at
you're
all.
you're some kind of stupid, cop, whatever.
Well, I don't get me wrong. I was not really happy with the cop. And I was like, and it was like, and by the way, like, this is before I knew I could report him because I was some stupid teenager. And I was like, and you thought this was okay to do? And he's like, it was funny. I was like, God dang it, I hate you people. I hate everybody here. I was like, why would? He goes, because now you can make up whatever story you want. I was like, that doesn't make it better.
Been like, let's see if your supervisor finds it fun.
Well, at the time, like I would never do that because one, that would involve me trying to contact the supervisor of a police station. Two, to get one of them to listen to me.
Especially because, in fact, you're a teen. Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, no,
You've got witnesses, and no crime was reported.
What did Atlas offer you? A piece of
Well,
my
potentially.
Gotham City? Not
No,
my word.
completely. Unless your friends bitch out on you.
Oh no. At the same time, they probably wouldn't want to get involved because they wouldn't really believe me. Oh yeah, no, my friends, dude. The neighborhood that I grew up in, like Pokemon, was like a big thing, and Pokemon was a violent game for us. Like,
What are you doing, like throwing rocks at each other, calling them Pokeball?
no, I mean like if so. So the only reason I think about this is because the other day in my neighborhood, I was washing my car, and some of the neighborhood kids, like I'm friends with their dads and stuff, right? and one of them brings up the fact that they had Pokemon. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I mean, I had that whenever I was a kid. And they're like, oh man, that's so cool. And I was like, yeah, it's been around for a while. And he's like, do you still have anything? I was like, yeah, I still got my collection. It's like one of the few things that are left over from my childhood they're actually intact. And so I went out and I actually showed my collection. And the thing that it really kind of got me was that I have a story for nearly half of my cards, because most of them involve me running away from somebody or getting my own group of friends together so that we can basically make sure that nobody takes cards from me, or vice versa. Because people would actually hunt you down and beat the crap out of you and try to take stuff from you all the time. Like, it was a bad neighborhood. I did not grow up in a safe place.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I would literally just start telling the kids these stories, and I was like, some of these probably aren't great for young kids. But yeah, like, I remember what was it? So there was, we used to go to the laundromat that was in the apartment neighborhood, like the neighborhood little area, and one of the things that we would do there is that was where we kind of went to meet up, and the idea was we were all together, You couldn't just run off and grab stuff from people, right? We're all together. It's like parlay, right? It's I wouldn't say hallowed ground, but it's just kind of the place we all agreed to where we wouldn't do shenanigans.
In the end, all that matters to me
And
is me.
there was one kid that just never learned that lesson, and I remember him like just decking me right off the bat, and then just grabbing my deck and running away. And like by the time I just like came to, by the time I got up, the entire room had cleared out, and they were just chasing this kid down, all because he wanted a single like level 1 card that he just couldn't seem to get a hold of. But instead of trading me for it, he wanted to just sock me in the face and try to run for it. I have no idea why.
Shop and buy the fucking card.
Well, I mean, I think for one of these cards, like I understand his frustration. I don't think I found that many of them either, but I also want to say our local card store didn't have any either. But I don't know.
Even in the book of lies, sometimes you find
Comic card shop I had near where I grew up, I could find all sorts of magic cards.
now that I see
Oh yeah, no, I mean, actually, I don't think Magic was big yet. I mean, if it was, I just wasn't paying attention to it. It may have been just off my radar.
Magic was big before Pokemon was ever a card.
Yeah, probably that's what it was.
does your master
Yeah, no, I was just.
Atlas?
Look. There were so many stupid little unsung rules that we had that don't make any sense. Like, for some reason, when some kid took stuff from you, if there was a fight and he won the fight, that was his card now. And it didn't matter if the fight was fair or not. So if it was him and 3 of his friends just basically holding you down and pummeling you until you couldn't get up, if he took a card from you, that was his then, right?
Nah, screw that shit. He would get Nancy Kerrigan.
Well, but again, eventually, like, they can only take so many, right? So they took one.
Now, my child.
It's no big
They
deal.
never try again after the first.
Well, the thing is that people would get jealous, and so there'd be these like waves of, violence. So, like, for instance, I'll never. It was one of the only Charizards I'd ever found, but I found a booster. I got a booster deck, and I got a Charizard in it, like a really fancy first edition Charizard. Now, again, it's a first edition. I remember this because I was like, oh, that's right, this card is gone. Where he knew that he couldn't get away with it, right? He didn't like the fact that I'd gotten it. His name was Kevin, I think. Yeah, it was Kevin. Kevin did this one. He didn't like the fact that I got it, but he knew that his dad knew my mom. He knew he was never walking away with that card, but he could not stomach the fact that I had found a Charizard. I have no idea why that was, but he just couldn't stomach that fact. He just couldn't handle that. And so he decided that he was going to try and ruin it, which he succeeded in doing. And so what he did was that he took a quarter to it, and when I wasn't paying attention, because we had a birthday party? Yeah, birthday party. At his house for his sister and like his younger brother or some of that. I can't exactly remember the reason for the party. I just remember we went there and it was like, okay, whatever. And his stepbrothers were actually friends of mine, so it was okay, more reason for me to actually go, because I'd actually see some friends that I actually cared about seeing. And while we were there, of course, we were going to play Pokemon because that was the big thing. And he decided that he was going to go digging through my binder, find that Charizard, and just tear it to shreds. And so whenever we went to go play, we were putting our decks together, and I noticed my Charizard was just completely scratched out to the point where you couldn't even see the Charizard anymore. And I got freaking pissed. And we all knew who it was, right? We all knew who it was. Because there was only one person missing the entire time. And just, I can't imagine the level of stupidity and hatred that would go into people that did do that. I don't get it. But
Would have beat that ass,
but for some reason that was unacceptable. He didn't do that. I have no idea why.
it's acceptable. I'd do it.
I mean, again, it's at a party, and again, there was so many stupid unsung rules. Because yeah, nowadays I'd be like, yeah, I'd beat the living crap out of you for doing that. Like it's a first. Because here's the thing: there's like all these different cards that had different, I guess, printings, and so if you had like a first edition with a specific type of like shade on it.
Same thing with Magic. I mean, it's
Yeah.
all card.
So like, I mean, well, I'm not really. It's the only card game I ever got into.
The assassin has
Oh,
overcome
I love
my
this scene. Okay,
final
I'll continue the story after this. I love
and
this
now
part.
he's come to murder me.
Oh,
In the
great scene.
end, what separates
drunk again.
a man from a slave? Money.
Well, I want to say they went through at least a quarter of that, quart of Jack Daniels maybe this time.
A slave.
Are you hanging out with Miss Bear?
No, I'm fucking at home. People I live with, they have a habit of getting drunk as of late a lot. I think one of them's an alcoholic, so that one makes sense. The other one, I guess he must have received some bad medical news that he decided to drown his sorrows in drink.
Really? A family?
And since he's drinking, the alcoholic is falling right behind him. So, yeah, and of course, the guy which normally is not the alcoholic, he's the type of alcoholic where he literally would just beat down on anyone else that, I guess pisses him off even a little bit, even though he tried doing that to me one time, and he has not done it twice. I've made it very clear to him, you can yell at whoever the hell you want in this house when you're drunk. You yell at me, drunk or not, you're on your ass, and he learned that the hard way, so he has not tried it since.
Come in.
Because it's not my business whatever the fuck he does.
See, this scene right here is really cool. Because
it's cool and it's rough as hell.
it is rough, but that's back in the day it wasn't. But here's the thing: there's actually a lot of stuff going on right now that isn't in the game anymore. Or sorry, isn't in the game anymore. So one of the things that the developers wanted to add into this game is pressure systems, because of course you're underwater. Pressure's a big deal, right? And so we're going to add a mechanic where you could actually pressurize or depressurize rooms in 3 different levels. Like there'd be standard pressure, low pressure, and high pressure. And that would play with explosives. So low pressure means that explosives don't do nearly as much damage. But if high pressure, they do tons of damage and have lots of backdraft. So that you're actually more likely to get caught in those blasts. But one of the things it would do is it also changes the environment's look. And this is one of the only times they implemented in the game, is this scene right here. This, I think, would have been the high pressure version where there's just like lots of, there's not a whole lot of light. And it actually changes some of the colors a little bit too.
Stop, would you kindly? Would you kindly?
Or it's the glow, I think is what it is. I forget what it is. I have to go back and look at it again.
Familiar
Would you kindly?
phrase?
Yes.
Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find
Oh,
Would you
man.
kindly shoot yourself in the face?
This blew my mind when I first played this. I was like, oh my god.
Kill the son of a bitch.
Because I never really paid attention to the would you kindly part, right?
Sit. Would you kindly?
Well, it's the whole design it's like it's subtle.
Stand.
Yeah, you don't even know this is happening.
Kindly.
But that's what makes it so cool.
Stop.
Well, I mean, it's the best kind of thing. It's like when the hints are there, but they're so subtle that if you're not really paying attention, you don't pick up on them.
Yes.
It's like,
Slave
watching like
obeys.
Sixth Sense. Like, the first time you watch that through, if you're not like, you weren't like paying a lot of attention, you missed out on the fact that Bruce Willis was a ghost.
Oh yeah.
Kill.
9 iron to the face. That's like a horrible way to go too.
What?
Getting beaten to death with a freaking 9 iron.
I mean, it would hurt.
It hurt a lot.
I mean, I personally wouldn't know. I've never been hit with a fucking. I imagine it's the same feeling as getting hit by a tire iron.
It's hard, it's small, it's sharp edges. Trust me, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, it's not gonna feel good. I've been hit with a bat before.
Obey!
And when I want to play baseball when I played baseball one time, when I was up the bat, I don't know what suddenly caused it, but like out of nowhere, when I was up at bat, I had bad ADHD back then, so there'd be moments where I literally would just look off and just be off in another world. But I remember finally like being off in a little world, like looking off, like looking nowhere in particular. Coming back, looking back at the pitcher, and just seeing a ball going clean right from my face, right between my eyes.
That's exactly how that works. You're not paying attention.
It's just like I'm zoned out. I'm just like these guys. Like never has these balls ever come close before, and I just look back and am just clocked right in the fucking face. Here's the thing though. I took it as an excuse to sit out for the rest of the fucking match.
Oh yeah.
Because I hated it. Because I hated baseball at this point. By the time when this happened, I hated it. It was my second year in, and the only reason I did it the second year, the only reason I did it the first year is because I wanted to, just to experience it. Then I hated it, but it allowed me to have some time with my dad. So the second year, I wanted to do that just for that. And guess what happened shortly after? He divorces my mom and moves up and just rarely ever shows up anymore. Cool, awesome. So and this happened right at the start. First week.
A good feeling.
First week, I started doing this shit, finally followed through with him, finding all this, and he divorced my mom and just appeared. I mean, not completely gone, but he may as well have, you know? And with that, I just never really got to talk to him, and this and that, blah, blah, and never did this little bit. So with it, it was all for naught, and I was stuck there for 2 years. And I told him and when I finally did see him with my games, he was bringing me back home, I said, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to quit. You're not a quitter, you are not a quitter, and blah, blah. I was like, the fuck I'm not. But of course,
quit,
though.
Son. It's like, you quit? You're not a quitter. It's like, you are, bro. Okay, this scene, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but this scene, I have no idea what this scene is for. Like, what is this?
You know, it's just like, I'm thinking back to that, it's like, if I was able to think of the things I could have recently said back in the day.
See,
like I would have made him cry like a bitch.
I don't know what's more sad, that or the fact that like my experience. Like, I played baseball too, but the thing is like my experience was a little bit less traumatizing, which is hard, kind of weird to say because my experience was actually having somebody take a baseball bat to my legs, although not breaking them. I had a kid that actually got pissed off at me in my subdivision, and he actually just ran up behind me with a bat and just hit me in the back of the legs with it. I have no idea why. I to this day could not tell you what it is that I did to piss this kid off.
But something set him off. Yeah, I don't know what.
And again, like the thing is that where I grew up, there was lots of like. So here's the thing: there was kind of a hierarchy where I grew up. So like, there were some people that you didn't touch, and there were other kids that you could. So the kids that you couldn't touch were like the sons and daughters of like the big time dealers, right? You didn't touch them unless they did something to you first. Like if they came, to you with a fight and there ain't nothing that you did, then you could get away with it. But that's about it. And even then, you want to put rubber gloves, or you want to put like soft gloves on when you do something to them. Because if you didn't, there would be some kind of repercussions for that, whatever that might be. So you didn't touch them. So they got treated a little bit special. But it wasn't uncommon for kids to lash out because they were angry because some of those kids were messing with them. So they couldn't go after the kids that they couldn't touch, but they could go after you. And so they did.
So I imagine it's just those moments you're just like at a store or whatever, you're just out in public, and you look at someone, and no reason whatsoever, you just look at someone and you're just like, I want to punch you. You've done nothing wrong. You've not even pissed me off. I just want to punch you just to see what happens. It's like that moment. It's like, I just want to punch you to see what would happen.
I'm going to eat your little snack though. Yep, I ate your snack bar. Haha. But yeah, no, it's almost quite literally what it was.
Dude,
And
why are you
so-
stealing candy from kids? What the hell?
Because I saved their
Fuck those damn
lives. I
kids.
deserve their candy.
Fuck those kids.
Who's he?
Fuck them kids.
He can help us. I like him.
Priest comes out, but do we have enough time?
Oh, jeez. No, these are little girls, not little boys.
Ah, true.
There's plenty of them that don't differentiate. They just take little boys because it's easier to get access.
Oh my god. Just because they're called altar boys doesn't mean you bend them over the altar,
couldn't
father.
she just open a door like a normal person? What is with that goofy ass door at the bottom?
I don't know.
Huh, kid? She's a regular mother goose.
Atlas is watching.
Fun's fun, kid.
See, again, another. Like I was saying a long time ago, was this now, like what, a month and a half ago? I really like Atlas's name because it's kind of, you know, again, objectivism, Ayn Randian kind of stuff, and Atlas Shrugged kind of stuff.
I says, would you
But
kindly
did you notice that the cake was a lie?
The cake was a lie. Oh my god! There's no such thing as cake. Everybody knows that. There's just only sugar bread.
like Mother Goose has been
Sir, you take that foul lie and you get out.
Oh no no no! I'm gonna tell you more lies.
I got others.
I'm gonna tell you a big lie. You're pretty.
All right, code. You're telling me that nobody ever had like code yellow has to be a thing.
I just told your brain to tell your heart.
You just code yellow your pan.
Not right
Oh
off
yeah.
the bat, mind you. The heart's a
What's code yellow?
Code yellow is Jack's shut-off switch apparently. Like it basically tells the heart to stop working.
Once you are free of Fontaine's control, then you can have your revenge.
I was thinking along the lines of Code Brown, but
Well, but the thing is, like there's like code yellow, orange, red, blue. Like there actually are codes for that. And so if he ever heard that code, like if you're in a hospital and there's like I forget what code yellow is. It's really rare. But like code pink is when like a baby gets taken or a baby's missing, right? Like if you're ever in a hospital and you see or you hear a code pink or like
No one's leaving.
well, that too. They basically lock down the entire hospital. Nobody's getting in or out, like except for the ER, and that's even then that's kind of maybe. But there's another one they do. They do Doctor. That's a new one that I wasn't really used to hearing, but it's a new version of it because people realized that Code Pink was a thing. And so they also supplement it with Dr. So-and-so come to the front desk. If they ever tell somebody to come to the front desk, like, it's a code, more than likely.
so code yellow, hospital only trauma team reports to ED or security reports to ED.
Is that what it is? Yeah, so like, you're telling me this guy's never been in a hospital, which is fine, it's very possible. But it's like, this guy could have accidentally walked into a hospital, and someone could have said code yellow and his heart would have just stopped. I mean, there is something humorous in that, but, you know. There we go.
Did I ever ask whatever your favorite firearm is?
Which one?
Just, let's go for reality.
Oh, reality? I mean, for handguns, for modern handguns, I like the P226, or sorry, 229. I guess the same gun, it's just different sizes.
The SIG?
Yeah, the SIG 226
Ooh.
and the T29. I actually fired one of those with a suppressor and a red dot on it, and
Very sexy pistols.
they are, but man, like I fired it and I was like, I don't even feel it. It's really nice. It's a nice, fluid, smooth pistol. I mean, that's probably my favorite handgun. This is the problem. Is like, I also had see, here's the thing. Whenever Fucker says I had a semi-cursed life, he's not exactly wrong. Which I really didn't like him saying that for a while. But then I kind of just, like, I can't really argue against
Telling
it.
stories and it's like, yeah, you can't argue.
No, I really can't. Because like I also got the chance to grow up around lots of guns and explosives, so there's that.
Probably my favorite pistol that I've ever used was a USB tactical.
I've never fired one of those. USP 45?
Yeah, it's a tactical in 45.
Nice. I've never fired one of those. I've never even held one. I wouldn't mind it though.
I owned one for a while.
I think for a rifle, it depends. Again, it depends on what I'm doing. So it depends on what actual. It depends on what role the rifle is going to serve, right? So if it's like I want to do a precision rifle that I've fired, I really like the KAR, the 78 or 98. God dang it! Why am I screwing up World War II weapons?
Precision weapon.
What's up?
It's a World War II rifle. I wouldn't call that a precision weapon.
Well, but of that I've fired, right? Like, I mean, I could also say like an AR-10, but I don't have enough experience with an AR-10. Like, I just don't.
Like a 15 just in 3.
Well, yeah, but that's what an AR-10 really is. So yeah, so I would say that that's one of my favorite, I guess, long-range rifles. But it kicks like a friggin' mule. And for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know what German idiot decided that they needed to have a steel buttstock plate on the back of the goddamn rifle. But that man, I hope that man is burning in hell.
Probably also the same guy with the
They do pretty much the same thing with like a Mosin. I mean, it's to keep the stock from like splintering easily.
No, I gather that, but you could put a piece of rubber under, like, on top of the steel, right? Just a thin layer of rubber. That way you don't have a single solid piece of steel slamming into your shoulder.
I don't know, like, I've not fired a Car 98, but like, a Mosin Nagant doesn't really kick all that hard, and it's a fairly chunky round.
Whenever I fired it, and maybe I need to kind of fire it again, because it was a long time ago when I fired it. Like, I wasn't as strong, so it may have just kicked a lot harder. But
like a 7.62 by
well, as an adult now, it's a bit different.
I never felt that.
No, I don't feel AK rounds, bro. 7.62 rounds, no problem.
7.62 by 54 is a bit different. 7.62 by 39.
Well, sir, you know what? I'll have to take your word for it and still be okay with it. Let's see here.
Cracks me up about that conversation. I'm a bit of a gun fanatic, but I've never fired a gun before.
Bro, you gotta change that, man.
Oh, I would love to. Oh yes, let me do that with the money I currently just lack the freedom to do.
Well, no, just go to a range, man. Like
you
can
rent. That.
You could. Well, I mean, I don't know where you are. You said you're Michigan, but they've got ranges in Michigan.
I imagine.
Or one of these you could do is, if you're interested, you could just join a gun club.
Too antisocial to give a shit in that regard.
You have to what?
Too antisocial to give a shit.
I mean, well, yeah. But like at least for a gun club, like you can just pay like the yearly thing, and you can just go whenever you want to, and you can just shoot whenever you want to. Oh, assuming that for any place that I've been to.
There's only one gun there's only like a select few guns I really want to fire, but the one of which at the top of that list is an AS Val.
Yeah.
I just want to know what I just want to know what that's like to fire that thing.
So I would say that if you're gonna look for your first weapon, make it a practical one. That's all I can say.
Well, no shit. It would be pretty hard pressed for me to go on my way to fire a 50 BMG for my first time firing.
I'm talking about, like, don't go, like, so for instance, I know some people that their first gun was like a 1911, right? And I go, okay, look, it's not that it's a terrible weapon. It's not that it's a bad idea. It's just that for a reliable weapon, it tends to.
You're better off with a Glock.
Or whatever. Like, get something that you're comfortable with, and not something that is widely known, right? So test a few things, right? So like, I know that some gun stores, what they'll do is they'll say, we don't care if you test 1,000 guns, but if you buy one, we don't charge you for testing, right? So like that's what one of the stores where I live next to has. They have that policy where if you're a first-time gun owner, or first-time gun buyer, I should say, they will let you trial like handguns and rifles for free, essentially, as long as you buy one at the end, right? Now, if they have to order you one, that is also fine. But like I said, they usually got a pretty wide selection of weapons. And I just picked a fight with a Big Daddy before I was kind of ready, but that works, whatever.
It's like putting order in. Yeah, can you give me this Russian military grade assault rifle?
Okay,
That's cheaper than 9x39.
So no, not that. But I mean, don't get me wrong. The thing is, they'll go, sure. Let me see your Class 3 license real quick. God dang, I'm gonna die.
Random fact: if you actually come back from the military, you like one of the items you cannot. Like, usually, you can bring certain things back with you from deployment. Usually, some of those things though are baffling. One of which though, is, like if you have a already used flashbang that's already been detonated and pretty much is literally just basically nothing more than a metal pipe at that point, they won't let you take that home.
I think they use that for recycling and they get some money for it.
Even if it's an inert flashbang or whatever, they won't let you take that home.
Hell, I had a like a range master hand me an HE grenade from an is it M2?
Perhaps there is a plasmid that can grow the spirit.
Is it M2? What's the grenade launcher under the M16? Is it the M2 or the A2?
M203.
M203, there we go.
Yeah, it's M203, yeah.
He handed me one of those and he's like, you want this? And I was like, what?
It's like handing you beer type way too.
Pretty much. And I was like, this is really dangerous.
Like, be fine.
Honestly, how are you gonna danger yourself with the thing?
A hammer and a nail.
Well, if
You'd be surprised.
To do that, you deserve it.
He's got a point though. At that point, that's just natural selection working its course.
Well, yeah, but why would you? So here's the other part: is that why would you hand a grenade, a live grenade? Doesn't matter that I don't have the actual material to set it off. Why would you hand over a grenade of any kind to anyone? Like, unless because again, we were on the range, it was fine. But like, why would you hand?
Even if you were to drop that onto the floor and it would have hit on the floor, it would not.
No, I get that. No, I'm not arguing that the odds are not in favor.
It's just a thought of it.
It's just a really bad idea. Because all it takes is the right stupid moment, and all of a sudden somebody's apartment no longer exists.
It's also got an arming distance, so I mean, it's actually got an inertial where it's going to have to travel a certain amount of distance before it arms. Otherwise, it's just going to flop and go anywhere.
That's fair. But he also gave me a red smoke grenade, like a signal grenade.
Okay. Yeah.
And we took that one we took apart, and we actually you know what? I have no idea where that HV grenade is anymore. I'm just now thinking about it.
We just hear a loud explosion in the background.
No, I'm trying to think about. So I know what happened to the red grenade. The red grenade we actually thought was really cool. So I'm trying to think. I'm trying to trace it back in my head real quick. Hold on. So what I did is at one point we were at the dump, and I found this really cool looking nice just desk, and I really wanted a desk for some reason because I was really into modeling, sculpting, not sculpting, but painting and cleaning models and painting them.
There's a lot of nude modeling on the week.
Yeah, I as a very young child really enjoyed nude modeling. Yes, absolutely. No, actually sculpting models and whatnot. And so I needed a desk, and so I saw this old timey, really heavy desk. So I got me and 6 of the friends to help me pull it out of the ditch, and we put it in my room. And it actually was in good shape, and it didn't smell bad. It looked like we usually went by there every now and again because we could find things that'd be really cool. We also found the frame of a go-kart one time. I think I told that story not too long ago. And so we hauled it upstairs, and I remember putting the HE grenade and the red flare grenade in the top left little miniature drawer that's mostly meant for pencils and pens and whatnot, but it's a little bit deeper so it could fit both of them. I know what happened to the red grenade. I have no idea what happened to the HE grenade.
So you're telling me you had a 40mm grenade?
Yes.
Round on you on your person.
I had two. And so
you had 2 40mm grenades that were meant to be fired out of a grenade launcher on your person, and you just casually just shoved them into a drawer to be forgotten by time.
Pretty much, except for I didn't forget about them. It's just that over time I forgot what happened to one of them. Because the desk eventually gets moved out because basically at some point somebody in the family gets upset that I have a desk and somebody else doesn't, and it's not fair. And they go, well, you found it. And I was like, yeah, I found it, and I brought it up here. It's like, well, yeah, but you shouldn't have one. It takes up like 80% of the space in your room. And I was like, I don't care.
That's a me problem with that.
In the room, who cares?
Hey, well, stupid children do stupid things.
And they should be punished for.
Exactly. And the stupid thing was that eventually parents go, I don't want to hear this anymore. I'm tired of doing something. And therefore, the easiest solution is to have the eldest win and walk away. Just get rid of the thing that's causing the problem.
No, just get rid of the kid. I mean, that seems like a better solution to me.
Sometimes it probably would just be better just to simply just say, God, I just don't want this kid anymore.
I love my siblings. Thank you.
We know that's a lot.
I at least love one of them.
See that the exact same way where I say, I love my sister, but there are moments.
So anyway, so I remember we took apart the red grenade, and we just dumped the like the I guess the flare part out on like the driveway, and we just lit it on fire, which lasted for about like 30 seconds and just created like a nice big red flash along with some smoke. That was about it. I have no idea what happened to the HE grenade. I'm trying to remember what happened to it. So, put it in the left-hand drawer, and then the desk got moved out, and I moved it into my closet. I think into an old paper box. And I don't remember what happened to it after that.
You're the worst.
Well, I'm trying to think is like, if I can, if I kind of just retrace my steps in my head, I'll remember. Like, so okay, I did this. Then I went
like a little light bulb goes off, and he says like, "Oh, wait a second!" Runs off, comes back, says, "Boys, I found it."
Basically, yes. And I'd be like, I would totally take a picture of it too. Except that, actually, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't take a picture of it because then I get in a lot of trouble.
Hey, ATF, look what I've got.
Exactly. I was like, wait, hold on. No, I wouldn't do that because that'd be really stupid.
It's just like, oh yes, don't mind. Literally, just accidentally just sends it to like someone.
This is totally not real. Don't.
You just post it up
It
on
just
Facebook.
does. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's deactivated or something.
And before it's not.
And then I'll just like, okay, let's see if we can do something about this. But yeah, no. So yeah, I genuinely have no idea what happened to that the HE grenade, but I know what happened to the red grenade. For my buddy's birthday, we took it apart and we set it on fire.
Okay, that's a lie. You don't have buddies.
Well, honestly, the guy that I did that with, yeah, he was not a really good friend of mine, but something to do. And he invited me to his party, and I didn't have enough money to buy him a gift, so I'm like, hey, how about we set off a grenade? That was literally the conversation. Was I don't have any money for that, so how about we just blow up a grenade? And he's like, sure.
I didn't buy you a present. But I got a better thing for you. What? One blow up grenades?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you this right now. Like, that was probably what he probably still remembers, the fact that we took apart a grenade and set it on fire.
What I love about this game is it's technically got 2 climaxes. Like
it does.
When you meet shit, I'm blanking on his name.
Hey, no, but it's part of the charm.
No, I mean I enjoy it. It's because it's like when you think the game's over, it's like there's still so much more of the game.
Oh, I know. It's like, oh my god, I was ready for the game to wind down, but I was so wrong. I want more.
Yeah, it's.
Alright, it's 12:30. I need to wake up tomorrow because I don't know if we're gonna open tomorrow because we didn't. I can't call it a snowstorm. If this is a storm, this is shit because I've seen thicker snowfall throughout my life in this state. But one thing is definitely a rare sight is the fact that there was a fuck ton of rain before it started snowing. And I mean a fuck ton. Like there's literally a lake in my backyard that's just frozen over basically.
Yeah.
And so with it, that's the only thing that I am not certain about. It's not because of the snow. I'm not worried about the snow. I'm worried about the fuck ton of ice underneath it. And actually earlier today, like not even like an hour and a half ago, I decided to poke my head outside to see what the main road was like. I'm right next to a really big main road that obviously is always used every time of the day, no matter what. I hear nothing. No cars. I sat out there for like 5 minutes, not a single car goes by. On a main road. And I'm seeing that. I'm just like, even though it's like 11 o'clock at night on a main road to hear and see nothing for 5 minutes straight, I don't think I should go to work tomorrow.
Hey, I mean, honestly, if it's all frozen, it's probably not going to be done by tomorrow morning.
It's not. It's really not, because like it's one thing to deal with ice. It's one thing to deal with snow. It's another thing to deal with literal thick layers of ice on the road.
It's fine. I'm sure you'll be fine. Just put chains on your tires. You'll be fine. That's what I hear. What you northern people do is just put chains on your tires. And I go, I don't know what that means. Do you mean go out and buy regular chains and just put them on my tires? That seems a bit weird.
I mean, in a way.
So, remember back in the day how we handled really bad people? We just bolted them through the neck directly onto a tree and then wrote their crime on their body. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Oh, jeez. Okay, that might be a bit dated.
I don't know. I'm tired. I'm gonna call it here.
Even Fokker didn't laugh, so I guess that was a bit more dated than I thought it was.
Alright.
Actually, this is going to be the end for me too, because it is getting late for me. Even though I could stream a lot longer, I know that I shouldn't. I feel a lot better, and but though I'm still sick, I can still feel my head being a little bit swimmy.
You know, kind of like that feeling.
Yeah, so I know that I'm getting better. I know that I'm in a lot better shape, but let's not tempt fate and push it. So I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. I hope to see you all again on Friday, where we will actually be picking up, finally, our history stuff that I've been having to put off for about 2 weeks now. So,
history.
Yep, every Friday. That's right. You've never seen me when I do history. You've never heard me when I do history. Every Friday we do a bit of history, and so we're going through the Gothic War and the final stages of the Western Roman Empire. So we're going to go through the last.
Let me know whenever you do World War II. I'll be a great help.
Well, World War II won't happen for a long, long time because after this, I've already promised for the foundation of Rome because I like Roman history, and so I'll get really, really autistic in detail in some cases. It just depends what I'm doing. Like kind of
like how I would be with World War II.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on what we're doing.
Way too many documentaries.
I mean, yeah, but so yeah. Anyway, back to what I was saying. If you did enjoy, please consider giving us a follow. If you want to kind of talk to us normally, you can always join the Discord. Link is down below. And I hope to see you all again on Friday. Have a good night, guys.